Done. Oh, here we go. Go live. There we go. Ho ho! Looking strong.
Look at that.
Get that pump happening for everyone. Is the pump going?
Trying to get a pump going.
I'd get a pump going, but Mrs. Aussie Arm Wrestlers in bed, so that's just awkward. Oh, do not train. Look at that. Hey, everyone's looking good. Let me have a look at everyone in the chat. Everyone is looking sharp. Everyone is looking good. How is everyone? Good to see people currently in the chat. We are live. We are rocking and rolling. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Reeeeady BANG! The number one arm wrestling live stream show in the world. I'm your host, the Aussie Arm Wrestler. And as always, oh, hello! My co-host is here. I am your 2019 Melbourne Cup left arm, 80 to 95 kilos, amateur. Third place getter, the most sought after trophy in the arm wrestling world. But
it is, isn't it? It is.
When you're talking about people on fire, I've got a guest with me today. I just wanted to invite him on, shoot the shit with him, have a laugh and have a chat. He's already thrown a $20 super chat in there. I kind of threw him under the bus. He was the first ever guest on the Aussie Arm Wrestling podcast, and I called him Ryan Blue Balls Bowen, and that has just stuck. So I do apologise for that, my man, but he is the hottest thing on the YouTube scene at the moment. And 11 super match win streak. We all know the credentials of this man. Ryan, welcome to the show.
Brother, thank you as always for having me. I love the Aussie Arm Wrestler show. It is, like you said, number one podcast in the world. So to get invited onto that, man, how can I turn it down?
Mate, you've got your warm cup of coffee. I have noticed you did post a video about 4 hours ago. Did you just go to bed or did you wake up early to post?
No, that was just went to bed. Just went to bed.
Madness. And that's the thing. Probably one of the hardest working YouTubers, arm wrestlers, whatever out there. So I think it's magnificent. All the hard work that you do. And I guess that. I guess you would have gone to bed at 3 a.m. So that's why I just threw it out there. For all the...
man. I'm loving it. It's such a ridiculously enjoyable thing to be able to call it a career. I never actually thought, probably even in my delusional Ryan Bowen brain, I never thought that it would actually get to the level that it's at. The thing was, I just loved doing it. So I was always happy to do it in my spare time. People like yourself, you'd relate. Doing it for the first 4, 5, 6, 7 years, you're not really doing it for the money because it's not making anywhere near the time, anywhere near equivalent to what you're putting in. So, but I've always loved it. So, but I'm incredibly grateful for what it's become, and it's exciting what the sport is offering right now. So much good stuff going on. It's just, I'm happy to be a very small part in the story of making the sport grow. So.
Oh, and there is definitely the talk about. First of all, I just want to ask everyone in the comments 2 things. First of all, have you subscribed? I'm sure you all have, but make sure you go subscribe to Ryan's channel. He's about to click over, if he hasn't already, 45,000. That's a lot of people that don't like him still hitting that subscribe button. But go there. Second of all, from everyone, I ask every week, where from around the world are you? Where from around the world are you? I love seeing which way, a couple of blokes from Australia can connect with people all over the world. Besides making content all the time, mate, what else is happening in the world of Ryan Blue Bowen?
Man, the biggest thing for me is this October 23 super match with Lachlan Adair. It's a big one. When I started arm wrestling, I said I wanted to be number one in Australia, and I think this is the first time that I have a chance to genuinely be that in everyone's opinion. I've already beaten Ryan Scott, so there's a technical approach to saying that I am number one, but that's not what I want. I want the unequivocal, you're the man. And so October 23, I'm facing Lachlan Adair, who is genuinely a freak. And he's genuinely
is he ever? That guy has basketballs for biceps. made a jive at him at your wedding, and he absolutely crushed me on the table for it. I said he signed your certificate in crayons, having a bit of fun, and yeah, you both felt mega back then, but yeah, it's going to be unreal. So with this matchup, and let's go straight into it. It was a hot topic I want to talk about, because this match is fantastic, because yes, it is two Australians, but I feel this is two world-class athletes finally going head-to-head. And if everyone in the comments don't know, these two guys are best friends. Lachlan was the best man at Ryan's wedding. They train all the time. Ryan, has really put Lachlan on the map, and they do everything together, and it's just been awesome to watch. So preparing for a match like this, say for a Ryan Scott and Alan Guerra, is this easier or harder to prepare mentally? Because this is your mate. Is it easier because you guys hold hands every week and every increment and crease in his palm, or is it a bit harder because it's like, it's my boy?
In respect to the mental side of the preparation, for a long time we didn't have the super match because we wanted to clean house everywhere else first before we eventually faced. We wanted to get some more international runs on the board and credibility, but with restrictions that wasn't possible. So this has become a match. Now, one of the reasons why I know Lachlan had said to me that he didn't want the super match in months gone by was he said, because for a super match, I need to go into a kill mode, and I'm your mate, and I don't feel comfortable necessarily going into kill mode, and that was cool. And now this match is on. We agreed with each other 3 weeks ago when we signed this match up. We said, look, no, 100%. We hate each other from here on in. You're my enemy. I'm your enemy. You do what you need to do to get you the win. And you can. I said to him, I'm going to be a complete arsehole to you on the day. Trust me. So, and he said, yeah, trust me. All right, it's on. So we've given each other the green lights to literally treat each other like we hate each other in preparation for this match. And I think that's the only thing. That has to happen. The last thing we want in this match is for it to look like another training session. This match will be heated. Lachlan Adair thinks he's got it safely. He thinks he's too strong. Trust me, he's not strong enough. He's just not strong enough for what I'm going to throw at him. He's not talented enough for what I'm going to throw at him. And his arm's going to go down. It's probably going to be 6-0.
Yes! Screenshot that. Chuck it on all your channels. You heard it here first. He's going to win 6-0, and he's just said that his best mate's not strong enough and not good enough, not technical enough. That's brilliant. That is brilliant.
I've actually got for part of my preparation. I love super matches. The reason I love super matches is because I get to do what I do best, and that's plan. Everyone. It's no secret that I'm a better super match puller than I am tournament puller. In a tournament, you don't get the opportunity to plan. You got to. It's more reliant on having a strong ace in a tournament. I don't really have a strong ace. I constantly beat people in super matches that are stronger than me. It's been a constant for me since I've begun in the sport. And Lachlan is stronger than me. Make no mistake. I think that's pretty clear to everyone. Lachlan is stronger than me. But it has never been a problem for me in the past because of this planning of super matches. And so I've got 2 months to plan, or in total, I'll have 2 months to plan this. And I already know exactly the detailed plan that we'll go with. And it means that I get to train really specifically for it. And the one I'm having Sam Burnett over today, for instance. I might film a little bit of it, but I don't want to give all the secrets away. But Sam Burnett's turning up with a bunch of bands, and I'm hitting him like he's a freaking punching bag. I'm going to be running over Sam today. So Sam's going to get to feel the full force of what I can do off go later today. And he might, if you want to ask him who he thinks is going to win after today's session, he'll give you a good update.
I'll have to give him a shout out for sure. Yeah, Sam's a great guy. Shout out to everyone hanging around in the chat. Good to see some of all my locals in there. Fox 8 Ball, Andy Beckett, Arm Wrestling Gamer, Levan's Kidney, or Megatron. All of them's happening. Jamie Sheldon reckons that Bang Energy Drink And Blue Moon Beer should sponsor us. Yeah, which should be good. I want to get Jamie Sheldon on the show maybe next week to talk about State Kings, but we'll get to that. I mean, if you haven't already, head over to State Kings. Obviously, gamble responsibly, but chuck a few dollars on there. Now, when I say gamble responsibly, there is two blokes out there that either just have a lot of spare money or they don't know how to gamble responsibly. And that is two cool people, one being Dallas Langston and the other Bob Brown. For those that don't know, Dallas Langston has just got all of his chips and he's gone all in on Lachlan and he's looking for side bets and he's just gone bang. And Bob Brown has responded. So they're putting $1,000 on the line, $1,000.
You know what I was going to say, Jacob, about the State Kings and this match, and specifically Dallas and Bob. We'll get to them. What you'll notice, if you could drill down into the who's bet on who, and if you could open up and see who's betting, I promise you, the people betting on Lachlan are fans. They're new people. They don't understand this sport. Trust me, the arm wrestlers that actually understand arm wrestling, they're betting on me. That's where they're betting. And Bob Brown is a technician. Bob Brown really understands the sport. I've sat with Bob and we've talked, and he just knows. He just knows what I'm going to do. Dallas Langston, man, as much as I love Dallas, he's a terrible arm wrestler. I kicked his ass really bad in Arizona. And he just thinks it's all about strength. It's not.
That'd be. I would love to see the breakdown on people betting on Lachlan, like arm wrestlers versus haters. I would like to see how many people have broke it down and just gone, right, I think Lachlan will take him here and this, that, and the other, and I think it's just going to overpower. My money's going on Lachlan. To then the people that have bet on Lachlan that have just gone, shut up, Blue.
So just put an Instagram poll out there where you can actually check who votes. And there'll be a long list. Lachlan will have 70, 80%. It'll be a long list of people you've never heard the names of betting on Lachlan. And then have a look at the ones who bet on me. And you go, So anyway, go to StateKings.com right now.
And if you look closer to the event, the Aussie Arm Wrestler has already put a couple of dollars on this match, but he will reveal later on where his dollary dues has gone. I think it's going to be an exciting match. I love it. I love both of you guys. You both have been huge supporters of the Aussie Arm Wrestler. And yeah, one thing I really do find interesting is the way the arm wrestling world carries on if you pick one person over another. And this is probably coming from the PAL event. I mean, the event was fantastic. It did significant numbers for your channel, did significant numbers for my channel. Personally, I thought the event was great. I mean, with any event, there's a couple of things you would love to fix up and condense it or just get the website right on time. But the event was good, but just the madness. Like, you and I both picked Dave Chafee. I mean, some of it was we genuinely thought Dave might have a chance. I was a glass half full type of guy that, come on, Dave, at least get around. And then a part of me was like, well, let's just stir the pot and get everyone watching our channels and saying it. So how do you find it all when you sit there and go, Dave wins and this is why? And then the community, like, I don't mind people telling me you're wrong. Don't be silly. Levan's going to crush him. I don't mind. But some of the straight for the jugular, there's a few comments there I was called borderline racist.
Yeah. Well, I got hammered. I got the amount of people that come back and went to my prediction and said, "Well, this aged well, didn't it?"
Yeah.
And I actually, the funny thing for me was my prediction. I actually said Levan was going to win. I just said Dave was going to take 2 rounds. That's all I said. I actually said, but look, still, it's Levan's match. But I see Dave taking 2 rounds. But yeah, there is a super weird subculture out there of emotional butthurt people, whether they're fans or not, over picking the wrong person to win. I don't know. I mean, what we want in matches is uncertainty. Uncertainty is what keeps us all as fans interested and going in this thing. We need that, and Levan was the favorite. You could just see it a mile off. But just knowing the credentials of Dave coming into that match, and that Levan had never pulled someone of that credential. He'd never pulled Pushko. He'd never pulled Dennis. He'd never pulled Chafee. He'd never pulled Devon. He'd never pulled Michael Todd. Those are names that were the bastions of the top tier before Levan and Vitaly came along. So to me, it wasn't far-fetched at all. I'm in awe of what Levan did. To me, he catapulted himself into a realm where he's now very much considered, I think, probably the peak strength ever to have seen the sport. I think he's got the most overwhelming argument to say he's the strongest there ever has been, based on what he did today. But yeah, it is weird, man. I enjoyed it. I put my money on the line too. I actually bet that Dave would win a round. So when he didn't, I had to own it.
Yeah, I said it. The next video I made was I was wrong. I tipped Dave to win the whole thing because I just wanted to wind everyone up, and it went mad. Now, I just want to go back to one comment. I thought it was a very interesting question. Guys, because I'm just so enthralled when Ryan and I always catch up, because I can't travel to visit Ryan. I do miss a lot of your comments. It's not that I'm ignoring them. I just love catching up with Ryan. Now, there was one interesting question. Let me scroll back up to it. I thought it was good, and I'm just loving the love from everyone in the comments. It was from Left-Handed Stan. He says, question for Ryan. Which of your last 8 to 10 super match opponents has been the best, strongest, most talented puller? So in your big win streak that's happened.
Are they different categories? He wants the best one and he wants the strongest one? Or does he want just...
just give us a rundown. You can give us one of each.
Yeah, sure. Well, the most significant win was Evan Burgoyne. The reason that was a significant win was that really catapulted me into a new chapter of credibility. When I came into that match, it was not even considered a match by the vast majority of arm wrestling, of arm wrestlers and arm wrestling fans. They all said no. They thought the match with Chris Gorby was going to be more balanced than the match with. They thought Evan was just a whitewash. So that was really my ticket to the WAL. Beating Evan all of a sudden gave me an invite to the WAL. So that was big. Obviously, Alan Garrett WAL was very significant. But the most difficult of all the super matches that I pulled was Fatality Match. I won that match 4-3.
Yep.
And, he's the least talented of all of the 11 that I faced. But it was the hardest match to win. So he tells you about how strong Fatality Mateo is. He's really, really strong and incredibly dangerous arm wrestler. Huge. I mean, he's got that Polynesian DNA where he's basically built like Maui. He's 135 kilos. Hand and wrist is thick as hell and thumb crazy.
A bit of context for two of those matches, guys. I felt like I was watching the Olympics. Ryan went over, and this is before the Aussie Arm Wrestler was born. Ryan went over and pulled in the bottom 8, an event organised by Devon just for a bit of fun, get some really, talented, ready to make the next level. And Ryan went over being the Australian. So I felt like I was watching the Olympics. I remember watching it live, like get in there. And it was awesome. So go back and watch that. But the Fatality match, I recommend everyone watch that for one reason and one reason only. And it's not because it was a great match. It was because of our man, Abraham. Shout out to you, Abraham. I think you're a big legend. I reckon he said Fatality's name 687 times. And the highlight, someone did a counter for Tali, go on, Tali, go on, get in there, Tali, go on. And I was just like, you're the man. You need hype men, and Abe and Abe alone, who's doing great things up there in the Gold Coast near you.
He's the hype man he can be 10 hype men at once, pretty much.
He was absolutely.
And I didn't realize. It's funny when I pulled Fatality that day. I didn't realize. I mean, I was in the zone. My blinkers were on. I was thinking about what I needed to do, so I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it at all. And then when I finished the match, everyone was like, "Did you hear? I heard, man, he was going psycho." And I'm like, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" And then when I got home and edited the video, I couldn't stop laughing. I'm just like, "Oh my God."
It was.
This is great.
It was the best. It was so funny, and yeah, and then of course when you ping Chris Gobby, someone made that Curb Your Enthusiasm video.
No, well, the Chris Gobby one it wasn't really satisfying because I mean he's a freaking midget at the end of the day, and I was never worried about that, but it was peculiarly satisfying because the origins of why Chris and I were matched for a super match were really deep. Like I've been enthusiastic in arm wrestling forums from the beginning. I've always been active. So when I first got involved in arm wrestling and I was genuinely still at the novice level, I was already heavily invested in understanding technique. And I was in the Arm Wrestling Engen forum at the time, and I was talking about technique. And I was putting a lot of input. I didn't create the post, but I was very active in a comment section. And Chris Gobby, who was an established pro, albeit a lightweight pro at the time, he was being his usual self, but targeting me and ragging me, saying, "You're nobody. You don't qualify to talk about technique. You're a novice. You'll never be anything." Yada 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 yada. And keep in mind, Devon Larratt had already been to Australia at this stage and met me as part of his tour. Devon Larratt, after about 20 minutes of Chris and I back and forth at each other, Devon Larratt chimes in and said, "I'd put $1,000 on Blue to beat Chris." And that, from that moment on, Chris hated my guts.
Yeah.
He couldn't deal with the fact that Devon, back when I was a novice still, said, "I'd put $1,000 on Blue to beat Chris." And so that was years earlier, and that just built and built and built and built, and to the point where the match came, and yeah, that music at the end was perfect.
Yeah, it was awesome. And look, the one thing I do actually like about Chris Gobby is he hasn't changed. He hasn't changed.
Yes,
That's who he is. He calls it, calls people out, does whatever, cracks a bit. He didn't succumb to peer pressure, and it's like, oh, stop teasing everyone. He's just like, he's Chris Gobby. That's the way he is, and at times, I thoroughly enjoy it when he goes onto it. Now, going back...
Bradley. Sorry.
That's right, is he mucking around? Stop mucking around, Bradley. We'll get to you later. Quickly, before we go on to some big news, the top 8, give me one thing that you absolutely loved about the top 8 event and one thing that needed improving. Go.
Well, the one thing I loved was the staging, lighting, atmosphere. Best I've seen. Felt like it just felt like a combination of a massive sports event in a really kick-ass European nightclub, and the energy of people like Levan. Hang on. Did you say top 8 or bottom 8?
Top 8. Yeah, top 8.
Okay. Yeah. The energy of watching Levan and Fatality walk out for that final was something special. What I'd improve, or what I didn't like, was how many hours I sat there to get to that point. And that's largely responsible. That's largely because of the system of their refereeing. Restarts, fouls, slips, take the strap off, walk away, chalk again, talk to your buddy, come back. I watched Tim Bresnan pull that night, and that match just took forever. I just couldn't. It was like an hour for the match. I couldn't deal with it. But
that's I think that's the one thing. Like, cause I mean, and it's a bit, if we were there at the event, you and I both have the headset and we're calling the action, we'd probably be more, not so much more enthused, more energized or anything. I can't find the word for it, but we both had to get up at like 2:45 a.m. or whatever it was, and then we're both going live, and suddenly it's 6 a.m. and he's finally come on stage, and when it comes to, okay, spend 3.5 minutes trying to get grip, we'll go to a rest grip. Spend 3.5 minutes trying to do that. Then you slip, and then what? Why are they letting them walk off? That's. I think I'm with you on that one. I think if you slip, just grab them by the collar and go, don't you move anywhere, bang, and then strap them up. And I think once you slip, I think it should be strapped straight into a rest grip. And I think the arm wrestlers have too much to say on the table, which they're too busy arguing. Like when I play sport, if you, like when I was playing basketball, when I was playing footy, if you talk about the umpire, you're penalised. You know, it was there was no, I'll just change it for you. I was like, well, that wasn't a foul. That wasn't a free kick. Psh, 50 metres, come with me, dickhead. Off you go. Rah. So I thought that was interesting. But speaking of interesting, I've been doing a bit of research. And I'm not too sure about this, but the huge rumours. Huge rumours.
Here you go.
Is the big Levan, Saganishvili. Now, I've said his name so much in the last 3 or 4 days, I am fluent in Georgian now. There's rumours that he just might be at King of the Table 2. Bang! Now, I was having a bit of a watch, and a couple of people have done some videos. Now, I'm not 100% sold on it. The thing that I am 100% sold on it is, unfortunately, Levan's not coming to Australia.
Correct.
Now, there's 2 reasons why I think Levan is not coming to Australia. Now, it could be the whole world situation, everything that we're in. I think my second reason, the reason why Levan's not coming to Australia, is he did a bit of research on Ryan Bowen and just went,
No.
I can't beat, the goat. And why I say the goat, the greatest ginger of all time, the goat. And I think Levan just kind of pumped the brakes and just went, I can't beat Ryan, so I'm not ready to go. So cancelled Australia. But have you heard this as well about Levan possibly being?
I spoke with Levan last night directly, and what he said to me is, yes, unfortunately, my original plan and schedule to come to Australia is off. I don't know if Levan's publicly announced what he's doing yet, so I won't refer to it. But I've seen a lot of people join the dots together, and I think everyone knows why he was generally coming here. But I won't say it specifically because he was going to be waiting for a public announcement. But anyway, his commitment down here in Australia, because of the COVID regulations and the way the Australian government is handling itself right now, it's been relocated, and so his efforts have been relocated into Prague, which is a lot closer for him. It makes it a lot easier for him to do what he's going to do. But all the stuff that was going to happen in Australia is no longer. But he did actually say to me, he said, look, it's not 100% that the preferred location is still Australia. They've just found an alternative, and it's a bit of wait and see right now. But it's not 100% off, but it is 100% off, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So he's not coming in 2 weeks. He was going to be here in 2 weeks' time originally. But yeah, unfortunately, he's not going to be here, it seems, which is disappointing. It's
very disappointing because I think he knew. I think he just knew.
I just want to put a shout out. I just want to put a shout out to Levan. He's such a nice dude. He genuinely is a really nice dude. Talking with Levan, I met Levan in 2019 in Poland, in the Munich airport, and for about 2 hours hung out with Levan. And he surprised me then how good natured he is, and just a nice guy. But continuing to get to know Levan over the years just through text, he's a genuinely good dude.
Seems like a ripper guy, and he's responded a few of my messages. So, morning, Mrs. Aussie Arm Wrestler.
Morning.
Wife's just walked past. Say hi to everyone quickly.
Hello.
Say it louder.
Hi.
Say ready bang.
Ready bang.
Yeah! Get her on the show soon.
Yes.
Hope she doesn't leave me. Please don't leave me. But yeah, no, he's been fantastic. Now, what I want to ask you, Blue, is if this is happening and he's going to King of the Table, I've got a suspicion who he might be pulling. But if he were to be going to King of the Table, who do you think he is pulling?
Well, okay, I don't think he's going to King of the Table 2. I think he's going to King of the Table 3. But I made mention of April in a poll that I created the other day. I said, April 2022, Levan versus 330-pound Devon, who wins? And people in the comments section of that poll were like, do you know something we don't, Ryan? Or something? And I said, no, I don't know anything, but I hear a lot of birds talking. So I don't think Levan's going to King of the Table 2, but I'll answer your question anyway. He wants to pull Devon. He does. Well, I spoke with him about it last night. He wants to pull Devon. Devon is the biggest story update for Levan, but Devon's not available. Devon's over there in Dubai, but he's boxing. So read between the lines. April 22, Devon v. Sanganishvili.
April 22.
I think it's April 3. Like I said, I don't know anything. I don't.
We're off to Dubai. Babe.
That's what I think.
April 22nd. You've heard it here first. We're off to Dubai. Yep. If Ryan says it, it's true. Bang. Well, thanks for shitting all over everything I was thinking. No, and that's cool. And that's what I love. I love the different side of it because, of course, when the videos come out, we can all get hyped up and excited. And, you know, he went on a Georgian TV show and a great guy translated for us. And then Craigie did a video and I was watching that. So, look, I would love it. If I am going to put my arm wrestling conspiracy hat on, which I love to do, there's something about Monster 2.0. Something big happening. Something huge happening. Now, I would not be surprised. The only thing that I'm questioning is on this translation of the Georgian TV show, it said Levan did not have a top 8 contract.
Mm-hmm.
That is one thing I find hard to believe. Now, I'm an optimist. I'm a glass half full. But then why didn't they Levan make heaps of money before the Dave Chafee match and just really destroy the arm wrestling world?
Yeah. Well, in respect to, and again, this is something I talked to Levan about last night. Talked to him last night about. In respect to Levans Legacy, you got to look. If Levan was to retire today, he already has a very significant legacy, and he already has a claim to being the strongest ever, and it's a reasonable claim. You could forever debate that, and it would be a reasonable claim. However, if there are a few people in the world that if Levan goes on and beats them 6-0 in the next couple of years, his legacy becomes really watertight. And Devon's at the top of that list because the Devon that beat Michael Todd was tremendous. He did something that the world's never seen. And Levan saw that in Devon too. And Levan naturally wants that as an opponent. He wants that and bigger. And rightly so. And Devon wants that as well. It's just the right story. And keep in mind, Devon, when I asked Devon this directly the other day on the live stream, he said he will face Levan and he will be well over 300 pounds when he does. So it will be a big Devon. And so Levan, if Levan beats Devon, that's one thing. I think Levan wants to beat Fatality once again, which he'll do in this top 8 season.
Yeah.
He'll get that opportunity. But I agree with you. Even though Michael Todd got crunched by Devon, Levan still wants to pull Michael as well.
And Michael doesn't back down. Michael's a fighter, and that's what I love about the monster Michael Todd. He don't
And the thing is, Levan is just trying to sew up all of the fans of the world that say, yeah, but. He's getting rid of all yeah buts. And Michael is a yeah but. Even though Michael's not the top of the tree right now in terms of ranks, he's a yeah but. And I think Levan wants to crush Michael just for a look. I've beaten Devon. I've beaten Vitali. I'll do Michael now with my eyes, one hand tied behind my back, and we'll call it a day. So I think he'll do. I think those 3 big matches are on his must-do list before his legacy is complete. If he does all those 6-0, I think he'll retire.
He wants to crush everybody, and good on him. I did probably I don't know if it was because I was tired or that, but watching Levan in between rounds, I was a bit concerned. For his heart. He was sucking up that much wind. I reckon the first 4 rows passed out. He was pinching all the oxygen. Like he looked in a bit of in a state of affairs, which I did find
interesting that he was breathing that way and he was dominant. Like he wasn't working hard in a battle in any of those. So. Yeah, I agree with you that his aerobic capacity is a vulnerability for him. So when you then think of matches like Michael. Michael's not generally speaking. It takes everyone a while to pin Michael. It's not quickly. Like Andre Pushkar took a long time to pin him. Devon did it the easiest, but even Devon, it wasn't just straight to the pad. It was still stop, regrip, position. Now go to the pad. So Michael will make him breathe hard. Not that I think Michael really has a chance at all. I think Michael would get beaten convincingly based on what I've just seen Levan do to Dave. But Devon, even though I have Levan, again, I would have Levan as the heavy favourite. Devon's got to be that Doctor Strange and find that 1 in 14,605 possibilities. But Devon is the kind of guy that can find that. And he will draw a match out. If he thinks that Levan's aerobic capacity is a vulnerability, he will go there. He will say, all right, well, I'm going to make you breathe, big boy.
It's yeah. I mean, and according to the comments, it appears that only there is one person that can beat Levan, and it's not Devon, and it's not Monster Michael Tosh, Monster Michael Todd. It's the unicorn. It's Danny Tesh. That's it. That's the only man. That's the only man that can come out and just climb Mount Everest on his hands. Like, that's how easy he would do it.
There's a big part of me that's like that. When we talk about people vanishing, Danny is. It's like Danny is an undercover operative. he has vanished. He really does. Finding Danny Tesh is very, very difficult. You can't contact him. You don't know where to look to start contacting him. Money doesn't draw him out. Nothing draws him out. And there's a part of me that's like, I hope he's secretly away meditating in some cave somewhere, mastering the art of arm wrestling, and he's going to come back and just ascend to the top of the mountain and be that guy to just put Levan in a hook and just say, nah, get through this, buddy.
Oh, it would just be unbelievable. Now, Danny, I know. I just know that you'd be watching the Aussie Arm Wrestler podcast. I just know it. You just the way you are.
Even if he's not watching it, he's sensing it.
Yes. He gets good reception in a deep, dark cave in the back waterfalls of Ecuador. And I know he's got Wi-Fi there. So, Danny, come back. Come back, Danny. Because how can Ryan be the GOAT after he pins Levan 6-0, after he pins Lachlan 6-0? He needs to pin you 6-0. Nah, just wherever he is, I hope Danny's doing well. And I would offer money to get him on. It's madness. Speaking of madness, and I was a bit sad. To see this next thing. I saw a post from Marlon Kleinsmith. Now, Marlon, Fiat, and just the women of arm wrestling are fantastic. They're absolutely fantastic. And they were organising a queen of the table, and they were going to have Gabriela Vasconcelos, who I am such a huge fan of Gabriela. She came on the show not too long ago, and she was just cool as. And I'm a huge fan of Marlon and Thea. We couldn't stop laughing. You've spent some time with them. You know what they're like. You know that they're just ripper people. But this was like the queen of the crop. Like, this was some amazing stuff. Sarah was going to be there. Gabriela, Thea, Marlon, the Polish sensation. I forgot her name. It's not Anastasia. Anyway, like they were doing like the queen of the table, the top 8 for the women, and this was going to be an absolute killer event. But of course, where they were supposed to be pulling, they've cancelled because of we all know why. I just thought this was devastating. Were you keen on this event?
I loved when Fia announced that. I thought it looked spectacular. The way she announced it too. Was really cool. That obviously put a lot of thought and energy into it, and we're going to do the right thing and show exactly how badass the women's arm wrestling is, and it would have been the names that were there were spectacular, and it would have been very, very captivating for the arm wrestling world. I was 100% looking forward to it, but it's frustrating the amount of red tape and difficulty that gets thrown up at the last minute before events that just is impossible to get around. And I've experienced it time and time again, and so I understand the frustration well. So it's disappointing. It's
Oh yeah,
disappointing.
we're absolutely getting murdered when it comes to even trying to do everything. But if it were going ahead, if it were to go ahead, November December that they were aiming for, who would have been your pick
You
to
got
go
you got to
on
go
and
with
beat
Gabby.
everyone?
Gabby's got to be
Yeah,
the girl. She the way she dealt with Sarah at WAL. I think Gabby's like the John Brzenk of women's arm wrestling in terms of how many WAF titles. I think she got 30 WAF titles or something
30.
total. It's like she's the Margaret Court
Yeah.
of arm wrestling. She's just taking Grand Slam titles everywhere. And I mean, I've pulled with Marlon, I've pulled with Fair, I've pulled with Sarah, and I've felt them. But I've heard people like Ron Barth say, and I watched Ron Barth pull with Gabby, and his testament was Gabby is another level. She's a chapter ahead in strength of all the other women. So I think she would have had to have been the favorite. I would have loved, however, to have seen where Sarah landed, because Sarah coming back from injury, Sarah finding her focus and motivation once again. She was always one of those just insanely gifted people, just with a natural talent that was just phenomenal. So Sarah would have wanted revenge on Gabby. It'd be really interesting. But then the Russian women that were in there as well, the caliber of those women. Yeah.
Oh, the talent would have just been unreal. It would have been an absolute killer event. So I hope Marlon and Fia, we're huge fans. If you do not give up on this stream, do not give up, because I think it'll be an absolute killer event, and I think you'll get so many people. I mean, the way the arm wrestling's going, and if you can get all those studs or studettes, I don't know what a female stud is, if you can get all those at your event, it can be very, very highly watched, and I think it's going to be
100%.
Yeah, it's going to be unreal, and I think, and it's funny you bring up Ron Barth. I'm just going to try and find something. I won't be able to find it, but Ron Barth made a very interesting comment. He was very annoyed about the arm wrestling world. I don't know if you saw the comment.
I did see it. Yeah.
And the comment was along the lines, it's very sad that to be the best arm wrestler in the world, you just have to be the biggest.
Willing to take the most or whatever.
Yeah, and the biggest. And I thought that was very, very interesting, because, the guys were just a little bit smaller, or if you were Levan's size, it wasn't really muscular, Like, no disrespect to Cleve Dean, he was a champion, but he wasn't muscular. He was just massive and things like that. Yeah. So I found that very, very interesting from Ron to come out and say on that.
I don't know Ron's backstory in that respect, but Ron's carved out a freaking stone in his 50s, late 50s. He's got the physique of a Greek god. I don't know, read between the lines, but I don't think it's changed throughout the history of the sport. I mean, if I go back to when Ron was young and Ron was at a peak, I think of Richard Lupkes straight away. Richard Lupkes was the man to beat. And Richard Lupkes is clearly enhanced in a lot of respects. So there's always been the big giant out there that's got there because of gear and background training, whatever. There's always been them, and I don't know. In Levan's case, he's certainly the biggest for sure, and I think anyone would be naive to say that Levan hasn't taken PEDs. I think Levan's a combination of genetics, PEDs, and desire and hard work. I mean, he is what he is, but then there's John. Always look at John. John was able to take down Lupkes. John was able to take down Cleve. John was able to take down all of these big giants that were on the year and whatnot. And it's not to say that John never took year. I mean, but John was certainly not one of these gigantors So
I mean, that's just the nature of sport, you know, because everyone's aiming to be the best, and this is the way it's just got to go. You just got to get big. We do have a $5 super chat from Carolyn Looms. She's a supporter of all the arm wrestling channels. Got a lot of respect for Carolyn. She says, Uncle John has 5% left to sell his block out against David Bradford. Anybody staked yet or plan to soon? So how much would be... how much would 5% be? Like, how much is it?
$500 bucks. It's $100 per percent on those.